Hello all, and this will be, just be some talking. Let's say some talking. So today, we found out, probably, why Brock went over yesterday. This is doing this a little bit after Raw. And it was because I guess they wanted to do Brock versus Roman at the Saudi show, for the title, and that Vince wanted Roman to get the big ooh win in front of a crowd that actually gave a shit. That's what it looks like. Don't know if that's the case, but that's seemingly what it looks like, which is just complete bullshit, in my opinion. Because, here's the thing. The thing with Roman is this, and I feel bad for Roman because I don't really blame him for any of this, because he's just a guy and he's really good. I think everyone would acknowledge that he is everything probably the WWE thought he was going to be. The problem is that he still is the guy in a lot of fans' minds, rightfully or wrongly, that took Daniel Bryan's spot. Then he was continually pushed down everyone's throat. Then he was, all this stuff. And in hindsight, they probably should not have had Seth Rollins cash in on him and Brock, and because he was getting over in that match, and if he had won that, things probably would have maybe worked out better. But that's not what they did. Hindsight's hindsight. But this to me just is eh. And then if you watched Raw, they had Samoa Joe come out, basically cut a face promo, and after after Roman cut kind of like this whiny heel promo, very weird. But of course they were in front of that crowd, and maybe that's why they did it, because they were in front of. But and the idea that you don't play to that crowd has always been like, hey, you know what you're gonna get. It is what it is. But on top of that, the match will be in Saudi Arabia at the biggest Rumble of ever, whatever they're calling it. And I just had bad taste about that whole event since they announced it, because here you have this company that's promoting all of this stuff, right? So we're supposed to be in the middle of, with Ronda now here, where the women are supposed to take more of a front and center thing, and right now, none of the women, surprise, surprise, are in Saudi Arabia, are on the card. I wouldn't be shocked if any of them are on the card. On top of that, you now have Finn Balor's new merchandise and stuff. Do you really think any of that's going to be allowed to be sold, or is he going to be able to wear it in Saudi Arabia? Really? And the list goes on and on. The fact that they announced, oh, we sold all of these tickets in less than whatever it was, and the fact of the matter is the royal family bought all those tickets. That's how it works over there. That's how it is. You're not gonna have a diverse crowd. You're gonna have a bunch of guys that are either part of the royal family or are friends of guys that are in the royal family, because the royal family is massive, that are going to be in that building, and I'm sure they're gonna pop for everything. And that's fine and dandy. But if you are promoting what you were promoting going forward, then putting on a show not just putting on a show in Saudi Arabia, but putting a show on Saudi Arabia, using it as a special on the network after you go to all of these other places and you don't do network specials, but you're going to do a special here, is mind-boggling to me in so many ways. The fact that you were probably going to be flying over who knows how many guys to be in this Royal Rumble, because do they even have 50 dudes on their main roster? I mean, think about it. This is like a thing, and it's crazy in my opinion. And that's why you did this. It shows everything that's wrong with this company, in my opinion, because it's short-sighted. It shows that they still don't get what they need to do with Roman, which is stop having him go for the title. Actually, have him have somebody else be the guy for a little bit. That will help Roman so much, it's not funny because people will be like, oh, okay, oh yeah, by the way, we actually do like Roman, and now we can push Roman. It's this weird dichotomy that takes place because they're like, they protect him, but they don't protect him, if that makes any sense. They protect him up to a point, and then at that point, they stop protecting him. Then they protect him up to another point, and then they stop protecting him. And there's this illusion that they protect him where they probably don't protect him as much as people think, and it's like this weird thing. And, you know, the schizophrenia that is WWE booking, and the fact that fans just don't give a shit about him because of all of this. And so you basically want to go have the match be in Saudi Arabia. You have this big coronation in Saudi Arabia, and that's going to be what you're going to do. And that's it. It's mind-boggling to me. And if you don't believe that, all you have to do is kind of watch Raw, where Steph came out. Steph was, came out. She did her thing. It's fine. It's definitely not Vince and Austin. I know that's what they're trying to do, but I mean, Steph really has like go away heat. Like, we don't want you out here. We don't want you out here type stuff. And I mean, the crowd played into it a lot, but is the crowd going to play into it all the time? Is this going to be able to work as far as it is? Because if this is the plan, if the plan was, hey, we're going to do Steph and Ronda for all this time, then it makes even less sense for Asuka, who's not even on the show, by the way, to be to have lost. In my opinion, she wasn't even on the show, so it was like, what did it matter if there is no long-term booking except what they want there to be long-term booking, and that's the problem. And it's like, no, actually have some long-term booking, actually stick to your long-term booking, not just like, and then if it's not working, change it. It's weird. I think I said this last night. I think WWE, like, okay, people go, WWE needs more like New Japan. So what do? They turn around and they do like this. There's two things they did. They did this year-long program with Roman, and then when it was evident it wasn't working, where New Japan changed, and like the last time they did this when it didn't work, which was with Naito, they changed it. They said, nope, this isn't working. We're going in a different direction. And they did. Then they turned him heel. And now the dude's like their number 2 draw. So it's like, hey, it worked. The other thing is that they didn't do that. And the other thing is, it's like, okay, well, New Japan does like 4-hour, 5-hour shows, like for Wrestle Kingdom. So we got to do a 7-hour show. Fuck that. You don't need to do that. There is no reason to do that. But we're going to put everybody on the card, and since we put everybody on the card, it's all meaningless. And it is. It's all meaningless. You put the people on the card that you feel deserve to be on the card, and you make it a reward, and you make it a, hey, you're on the card because we see you at this level. It would be so much better than the other way around. Now, the flip side of that is that if you did that, then when you are there within your hardest of hardcores and you've got guys that you think, okay, these are the guys that need to be on this show, and people are like, well, fuck this match. I don't care about this match. These aren't the guys I care about. It's evident that you're not doing what you need to be doing. And when you put a guy like Rusev in a match where most people would have not cared, and the only guy they cared about was Rusev, then the match has more heat than what it would have had before, and you're not recognizing why, or you just don't care why. One of the reasons, I don't know. It's all just mind-bogglingly dumb, in my opinion. All of it. None of it's good. I will say this: whoever came up with the Matt Hardy, Bray Wyatt stuff, that could be a lot of fun, because eventually, I've heard people say, well, Bray will turn on him. How much you want to bet Jeff turns on, or Matt turns on Jeff? Well, Jeff could too, but Matt turns on Bray, and Matt's the bad guy, because that worked. That worked in the past. It worked as him as a heel. with this gimmick, and then you can actually go fresh with Bray. Could work. Could work. But anyways, again, it's amazing to me that WWE basically said, fuck the WrestleMania main event. We're going to put the WrestleMania main event, or we're going to do the finish we want to with the WrestleMania main event on a show in Saudi Arabia, and a show that is just, again, there'll probably be no women on the show. You've got all this stuff that you do that is like, Finn Balor being a great example. You just came out with all of this new merch for Finn Balor that you're probably not going to sell. He's probably not going to be able to wear when he's, maybe he'll be able to wear it because you'll be like, oh, he's got rainbow stuff on. Who cares? But he's not going to be able to, you know, to have probably a lot of it, I wouldn't think. But it's amazing to me that this that they're doing this, and it shows so out of touch that they are. It's like, really? Why would you do this? My wife, who gets weirded out because I don't always want to watch Raw or SmackDown, and she's just like, but it's WWE, and I'm like, yeah, but it's not any good. And she's like, yeah, but you know, it's WWE, and I'm like, you fall asleep. And she does. She falls asleep every time she falls asleep during Raw. And she usually, by the end of SmackDown, she usually falls asleep too. And I'm like, does that not tell you something? You know, and she gets mad because I'll be, you know, we'll have it on because she's like, well, let's watch it. So we'll watch it. And I'll be, you know, in my phone, I'll be on Twitter, or I'll be doing something else while it's on because I could give a shit. It's like, we're watching it, but really, it's pretty crazy. It is. It's nuts. And particularly coming off of a weekend, right? A weekend where we had all this great wrestling and all this great stuff. And I get that WWE gives a shit about any of the other stuff that goes on WrestleMania weekend. But that said, it's no secret that lots of good stuff happens during WrestleMania. And I get it doesn't matter. They've sold the tickets. They can put on whatever kind of shit show they want. Because the fans keep coming. Though this year, if Daniel Bryan hadn't been on the show, you know, the ticket sales probably would not have been as good. But that's neither here or there. You know, and like I said, before Daniel Bryan was announced, if I had gone to New Orleans, I would have left. I would have left Sunday morning because I really could have not cared. Or, you know what, maybe I've never been to the Raw after WrestleMania, so maybe not just go to WrestleMania and just go to the Raw after WrestleMania, because I could have cared less about that show. And it was pretty good, and it was, you know, all that stuff. But it's amazing to me just how crazy it is, right? It's just how it's WrestleMania. I get it. I get that. Who cares? We got their money. I get that it doesn't care who we like, because what really matters is what the TV people like, so that they can have their TV, you know, their TV money, because the TV money is all that is holy. If you don't believe that, realize that, you know, they announced today how many paid subscribers they had for, you know, WrestleMania, which I think was 1.8 million people. Realize this show, which had Ronda Rousey on it, and, you know, the return of Daniel Bryan, and had everything that it had on it. Ask yourself, do you think this show would have done 900,000 buys? I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. If it did 900,000 buys, even after you take the pay-per-view companies and all of that out, they would have this month made $10 million more than what they made by putting WrestleMania on the network. So when they sit there and they say that, oh, well, you know, the network is this big success, it's really not. It covers up the fact that they suck at putting on pay-per-views. They suck at putting on big match shows, and they can sometimes draw a good crowd, but for the most part, they haven't been drawing particularly. They've been okay. The they'll probably draw a lot more now that Daniel Bryan's back. I would bet they draw a lot better now, depending on which brand he winds up to, because we're going to do the brand split, which will be kind of weird, particularly with Bobby Lashley. That you get Bobby Lashley, Roman Reigns, and Samoa Joe all on the same show. That's a little excessive, in my opinion. That seems weird. And for however, Brock's going to be around too. That's I don't know about that. But anyways, I think I've rambled far enough. But again, it's amazing that this whole Saudi Arabia thing just amazes me, because it goes against everything they say, which if you're listening to this, or if you're a fan online, is a bunch of bullshit anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I would hope, and we probably won't get this, that somebody in the media will call the WWE out at some point on their bullshit. And I have hope, because the Moolah Battle Royal got changed. So I have hope. that maybe they will start saying, hey, you say this, but this is what's going on, and force them to actually do some shit. But anyways, but yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan at all. It was cool seeing Joe come out and be Joe, and I guess we'll get Roman versus Joe at Backlash for the title. And Joe will probably lose, and we'll all be upset. But I guess it is what it is. Anyways, I've rambled on long enough. That's all I wanted to talk about, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, later. Bye.